Hey guys, good evening. It is 5 p.m. here in Michigan. Not too hot, not too cold, and welcome to the Traveling Hypnotist. I am your host, as always, Dan Goyette, and tonight we are talking about hotel rooms. And we're going to be joined with, or I should say, joined by, Grant Saunders and Shawn, the Captain Kostuik, both of whom are in the waiting room. I can see them right now. And they're here today because, like me, they are event coordinators, especially Grant. And, just going to be talking about this. So without any delay, I am going to bring them on. So, Shawn and Grant, welcome, guys.
Hello, hello, hello.
So, yeah. And what time is it there in England, Grant? Is it a little later?
It is 10 p.m.
Oh, man, I kept you up past your bedtime.
I don't think Grant has her bedtime.
Yeah, 7:30 with some warm cookies and warm milk, and I'm normally in bed.
There you go. Me too. But anyways, we are talking about booking hotel rooms and getting to the conference. And I know I've been I was just telling Shawn, Grant, before I've been like a dog with a bone on this.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason why. There is a reason to my madness. And this popped back up on my radar because I was working on the conference, Michigan Hypnosis Conference. And please don't mistake this as me complaining or anything, because I'm not. But I wanted to get this information out. And I was working on the conference. And it was something I had to do. I put a post up earlier saying, hey, our room block is going to be going away on the 10th of August. So if you haven't got your room, get those done. And I got about 5 messages within an hour of people. Oh man, I didn't get my room and I needed a Thursday. There's any Sunday rooms left? And da-da-da-da-da. So I put my customer service hat on and I got a hold of the hotel and I got these people there, got them in the rooms, but it was something that usurped my entire day. It was, now I'm doing this. And, I had to contact Carly Hoffman, excuse me. She's now our point person. So I'm contacting her and sending and getting this person and doing emails. It wasn't like I could just contact the hotel, because I had to email back each individual person and let them know that, hey, you can book the room now and da-da-da-da. And of course, so that became the thing. And I also got a message, hey, is there a group code? So I was like, yes, there's a group code. I took a deep cleansing. As Brian Potts and I say, I took a mindful breath. So I think we're at one point, Brian and I are going to have T-shirts that just says, we gave away stickers at the last conference that said, just take a mindful breath. And that's where that came from, because all the things that go on. So I wanted to say this, and I wanted to talk to you guys, because you're in the same boat that I'm in. As you can see right now, my eye is twitching, and Grant is always happy when my eye is twitching.
That usually means it's
all
not
Michigan.
Twitching.
Yeah.
All Michigan. all the time. I'll play devil's advocate, because as a speaker that speaks at events, sometimes I look at my calendar and I kind of go, right, I've got this event, then this event, then this event. So I'll do it in stages. And so sometimes for me, and you'll know this from previous years when I book on, I have to wait to get some out of the way. And I'm like, oh, my next thing is Michigan. This year, however, through my experience at PHS, this year, I remember booking your hotel room early because I didn't want to miss it. But I kind of get it. For some people, it's never top of mind, because we've just had Hypno Thoughts and lots of crazy and great things happened at Hypno Thoughts this year.
Yeah.
But I get it that some speakers kind of go, I'll wait until I've got Hypno Thoughts out the way, then I'll concentrate on that. And then next thing you know, you go, oh, when was the deadline for the rooms? Oh, yeah. I've missed it. And then you think, and this is where you, myself, and Shawn are victims sometimes, because we're nice people. They go, it's Dan will be able to sort it. And then it doesn't matter what you're doing with your day. All of a sudden, you're on mission having to contact the hotel, having to find your contact at the hotel, make sure that they're available to get it sorted. And you're toing and froing. And you're not just doing this one time, you're having to do this for every individual character that then goes, oh, I thought I'd booked it. I was certain I'd booked it. But when I checked my email, I couldn't find any confirmation for it whatsoever. Do those sound familiar? They're all the excuses I always use.
I'm the other way. I guess I should be, right. I have the title, the Traveling Hypnotist. If I know I'm taking the magazine and I know I'm going to be maybe speaking at a conference or I'm going to be going there to cover the conference, I tend to book the rooms ahead of time. Like right now, I know I have a hotel room booked for the Canadian Hypnosis Conference. I have a hotel book room for PHS, and I did that immediately. I didn't wait because I know, like you, I'm going to go, oh, I'll just wait and then I'll get it and then I'll get it and then I'll get it. And then, of course, now you're out of room bookings and now you're staying at a different hotel away from the conference, and you've just increased your stay because now you've got to Uber back and forth from whatever hotel you're at to whatever the conference hotel is at. And I've played that game. I think we all have. So, because, Heather likes to pick the hotels when we go to Vegas. I don't always get to go.
Actually, that was Jim's problem as well when we were at Hypnothoughts back in 2022 there, Dan. He wound up having to stay at the Gold Coast because he missed out on the room bookings. Now, he could have talked nicely to me and I could have, had an extra bed open for him, but he decided he still wanted to Uber. Probably didn't know me as well as he did, later on, but but I do remember a couple of times, especially when we were coming back from doing street hypnosis, Shawn, can I throw my equipment in your room? Yeah. That's just how things roll. When you're away from the action, you do miss out.
Yeah, you might save $100. Me with the lingo, you might save $100, but then the extra time that you're spending on Uber rides, but more importantly, the conversations that happen, whether you drink or not. I'm a non-drinker, but the conversations that happen at the bar, in somebody's room late at night when, everyone's kind of chilling out, that's where real connections are made. And the thing is, if you've got a different hotel, what you do is the conference is finished, everybody goes out for a meal or a social, and then you go, right, I'm going to go back to my hotel now. And then when you go off by yourself to your hotel, all the cool kids are all planning their future, making their connections and really establishing those connections. So it's for the $50, $100 that you save, you're missing out on so much.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I need to book my room for PHS.
Yes, because that Brian is going to be on about that.
Brian is already messaged me twice going, I've just looked at the room box. Your name's not on it. And I'm like, I don't want to be a diva about this, Brian, but I'm sure they'll be able to sort it for me. But I will get that done.
I just want you to know I would be that guy on a microphone somewhere going, Grant Saunders will be at his conference as soon as he Ubers in from a different hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Just wait 5 minutes.
All that would mean is that Shawn would have to do a song and dance to keep everybody entertained.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. I just uploaded the little article that I wrote for Book Your Conference Hotel Early, Why It Matters More Than You Think, on the new and improved Hypnosis Today magazine. Super excited about that. And I wrote that. And I will say this. And if you haven't seen the traveling guide there on Amazon, I'm counterintuitive when I book a conference, but it works. And I put this in the guide. First thing I do is get a hotel room. Next thing I do is I get a plane ticket. Then I will register for the conference because I know where I'm staying. I know I'm going to get there. Now I've got the ticket for the conference. it's 97% taken care of. Most people will get the conference ticket, and then they'll forget to get a flight. They'll forget to get a hotel room, and then they'll try to rush. And now the flight, they can't get there on the day that they need it, or it's more expensive, and they've run out of hotel rooms, so they don't get to come to the conference. So it is important to make sure that the very first thing you do, as soon as you see that group code come up, snag it.
And I think, I was talking about this on a live last night, to be fair. It's one of those things that it's like, if you don't do it, you need to do it and you've not done it, it stays an open tab in the back of your brain somewhere. And so it's just constantly niggling away, whether it's top of mind or not. You've got like 3 things you've not done that are just draining your energy. You've not booked your hotel room yet. You've not done your flights yet. You've not sorted this stuff out yet. And so by getting it done, you get to tick it off. It's done. You don't have to pay for it all up front with a lot of the hotels. I know with some of them you do now, which is unusual for conferences, but that's the way that it's going. But, you tick it off, you know that it's done, and you don't even have to think about your hotel then until you arrive at the hotel.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
I think, again, I like the order of the way that you've done things, Dan. And for me, I'm on stage 2 of that, which is, where am I going to find a flight? And right now, WestJet has most of their cabin crews are on strike. So, when I look at WestJet, how reliable is WestJet going to be if they don't get this solved in the next, 30 to 60 days, which then leaves Air Canada. And Air Canada is not necessarily the cheapest option, or drive to Minot. But then it really becomes about timing.
Yeah. I've flown Air Canada once. I went to the UK Hypnosis. I want to go back there too. That's such a fun time for me. I went to the UK Hypnosis conference, and it was kind of funny because they flew me from Detroit 23 minutes into Toronto and then flew me to England. And all I can think is, like, there are big jets at Detroit. I've seen them. Great big right turn. Just make a right turn, guys, and it's right across. It's right over there. I can see it from my house. But they didn't. But I will say this, Shawn, we're getting ripped off here in the States because the airports in Canada are amazing. The seats are far more comfortable. I didn't understand what the tablets were on the little things in the gates, but apparently says, oh yeah, you tap on that, you order it, they'll bring you your food. I'm like, they'll bring it to the gate. The guy goes, yeah. I'm just like, we're getting ripped off. There were charging stations everywhere. Just like, this is, we gotta. It's like, well, here's this pail. You don't mind sitting on that while you're waiting for your flight here in the States.
Yeah. Case in point. So you've seen that would be Toronto YYZ. We use our call signs quite a lot. So Saskatoon is YXE, Regina is YQR, both of which are smaller but very decent airports. Mm-hmm. Then you get into Calgary. What's Calgary's call sign? Anyway, you get into Calgary or Edmonton, and there's some spots that are a little rough. Get into Vancouver, and they have an absolutely beautiful airport. Because it's all designed around the environment and everything. And there's big windows, and you can see out into the ocean, and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, this is pretty cool. But case in point, getting through customs in Vancouver, pretty easy.
Oh,
getting through customs in Calgary, not so much.
Oh,
so typically I try to fly direct to Vegas, but then that means that I can only do that Thursday night. Because they offer it Thursday night and Friday night, direct flights from Regina. So,
yeah, the best time I had was in Ireland. I got over there to the Irish Hypnosis Conference, and I'm not joking. I'm not making this up, guys. This is exactly how it went and how it was. There was a guard standing there, one of the border people for Ireland. And he's like, all right, step up, run foot to the line, step up, let's go. Hand the passport, give it a whole right. He threw it out. I had to run after the I'm not kidding. He's like, go get it, laddie. I had to go get my they were just like hustling us through. And I'm just thinking to myself, only in Ireland, they were like, we can, you wouldn't have bombs on your feet. I mean, come on. They were shoving us through so fast, unless, of course, you get trapped in Dublin.
That's the other thing.
But that was the American side's fault. So let's be honest
Yes,
about
it was
that.
actually. Yeah. I mean, one thing, traveling through Dublin makes things so much easier because, you guys have immigration on the Irish side. Apparently, Ireland and America have this great relationship. And so for a Brit, it's easier to travel through Ireland. But on this particular occasion, they closed immigration, which then meant I was closed and stuck in Dublin. So that was an interesting trip.
So, but you got a free poster out of it. So
yes, which is on my office wall, and it reminds me every time I see it.
But getting back to this, do you guys? I have a story. Do you guys have any stories or anything that was like the hotel room? Somebody calling you saying, "Oh, hey, I can't get there. How do I do this?" And da da da. I had Dr. Jody Solberg. Her flight got delayed. I had to do the hotel room, then the flight, and it wasn't her fault. But I think I was like that whole day I was resetting the hotel room. Not that she didn't have it, but that they come in too late. And I always say this, like, book your hotel room 1 or 2 days before the conference. Don't try to come in the day of the conference, because people will say, "Oh, I'll save money if I come in the day of the conference." That doesn't always work, because now your flight is delayed or it's canceled. And, so now you've got issues there, or you have to leave a conference early. I get points for being there. Yeah. Anything like that happen with you guys?
I think you always get people that, and they surprise you. It doesn't matter how well traveled you are, but you'll always get people, experts in the industry, that are well traveled people, that whatever happens, life gets in the way. And then that day before the conference and the day of the conference is, you are fielding calls and emails and messages and doing all of this stuff, which, as organizers, there's a million things our time could be better spent doing. But then on the same roll, we have got world-class speakers that we want to feel very welcome, and we want to make it as easy and frictionless for them as possible. But sometimes you do want to be like, really? You travel the world? Really?
Yeah. And I will take this lump. I will do this. I will take this lump myself. Irish Hypnosis Conference. I actually got stuck here in Michigan because of the huge ice storm, and we got deployed. So I'm working. It is the last time. That was it. I will say this right now. I always thought I could take a red eye with the best of them. Like, I would red eye that bad. And I could, man. But I think I have reached the age now where that has waved bye-bye. Because I'm not kidding. I was in bad shape when I got to the Irish Hypnosis, but I told John I was coming. I didn't want to quit on him on the 11th hour. So I changed the flight, took the red eye, got there, and I about died. I mean, and it impacted my entire first day. It really did. So don't red eye.
Yeah, you know what? It's something that I've struggled with last year quite a lot. This year, I'm getting better at it. Yes, just because I can do something. So just because I can drive 8 hours down to a show, get out my car, do a show, get back in the car, and then drive to the hotel. Just because I can do that doesn't mean I necessarily should. I know that if I'm doing those 8 hours and getting out and doing a show, imagine how good my show would be if I got down there early on in the afternoon or the day before, well rested, composed, fresh, and then did the show. It's exactly the same for speakers, and I've done the same as you, where I've finished a show, drove to the airport, got on a plane, gone across the other side of the world, and then got there just in time to then greet everybody, say hello, and then you're talking tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, I can get through it, but it's not fair on me, and it's also not fair on the people that have put time in their diary, in their schedule to come and see my talk. And so you want to be, do you know what? Actually, I want to give them the best that I can give them. So now it's like you said, you've got to put in a travel day before any of these kind of big functions, these big shows, or these big talks at conferences. Because
Yeah.
otherwise you're falling asleep, you're jet lagged, you're just not at your best. And you only get, was it one chance to make a first impression? You don't
Yeah.
know, there might be somebody at your talk that is going to change the trajectory of your life. You know, you want to give it the best 100%. And by doing that means getting there early, fresh, looking good, feeling good, and excited for the conference.
Are you talking about the future Mrs. Kostuik? Like, what's going on there?
So, yeah. And one of the things I will say this, the hotels use dynamic pricings, and this is where it comes into. I know this year we got a better rate, and you guys got a better rate at PHS this year. I paid a less of a deposit too, which was great. But we got a better rate on our Thursday room nights because I had talked to them. I knew people were going to be coming in internationally, so they gave us a better rate. But on Friday and Saturday it went back up, and then Sunday it went back down. That's that dynamic pricing. So I wanted to talk about, because people say, oh yeah, there's going to be a group code, there's going to be a discount. Yes, there's a discount, and yes, you're going to save money, but it's going to be that dynamic pricing at some of the hotels. I had one person say, well, I can't come to your conference because the room rates are bouncing all over the place and so on and so forth. So I did explain that to them before they decided they were going to come, but then they asked me if I could call the hotel and get them their own group code. And no. So that didn't work out. But that's why you use the group code.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're right. We did get a better rate this year, and it's because when we look back at last year, our window closed in December,
Mhm.
which that's how it's traditionally done, which gives everybody a month to get ready to come to the conference. However, all things being equal, we had a lot of people who committed last minute, and a few people that came, decided to
Mhm.
come after the fact. Well, okay, that's great. So now we got to go back in and open up another room block and expand and so on and so forth. So when they look at that and they say, oh, the PHS guys, they brought in this many nights,
Yeah.
that gets us a better rate. And so that's the other reason for using the one group code that a conference has, is to ensure that next year maybe there's a better rate. Next year there might be a different perk. Next year there might be something else.
So absolutely. I will remember this, and Grant will probably laugh about this. Talking about perks, the first year we were in Gaylord, I actually rented buses to go get people from the airport and bring them out there because it was kind of far from the, and like half the people that came to the conference drove. So
Yeah.
because they were going to another conference. But I'm just thinking, it was like $2,000 in buses, and like half the people drove there. I was just like, I could have just no. So, but it works out, and yeah,
And
you're right.
that was the only conference to have steak and steak dinner.
Yes, it was.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
If you like your steak, you got all the steak.
Listen, this is Michigan. There is no vegetarian option. Okay.
Yeah. What's the vegetarian option? Beef.
Exactly.
That's right. They eat all the vegetables. I still
Exactly.
remember that. I still remember that we were in Texas many years ago, and my wife asked about that because she does like eating a lot of vegetables and fruit and stuff like that. And she's, where is all this stuff? And the waiter joked. He says, "Oh, by the way, you're in Texas. We feed all of that to the cattle."
Yeah.
Hey, there is Michael Brody, the amazing Michael Brody, as always. So, how you doing, buddy? There was something I was just going to say, and then I got distracted by Squirrel.
Yeah, so going back to conferences and meeting people, again, Gaylord conference, your amazing first conference, that's where I first met Michael Broder and consider him a good friend now as well.
Yeah.
And so I actually gave his contact details to a ventriloquist here in the UK, a young girl that's doing some really great work in the ventriloquism world. And I'm like, you need to connect with my friend Michael Broder. So something may come of it, something may not come of it, but yeah.
Awesome. I think Mike would be a great ventriloquist, you know. Unfortunately, I know that he would probably use his powers for evil. It's like Dan just said that the next conference was free next year.
Yes.
Just Mike throwing his voice at me, like, "Ah, you get it for free. You get it for free." What does he say? Only in Gaylord. Yeah. The group page. I was going to talk about the group page. Because I did just get that question, and it was just recently. Hey, is there a group code for the hotel room? And I just wanted to say no. I wanted to say no so bad, but I didn't. I said yes. So if you're watching this podcast or you're listening to this podcast and you're considering coming to a conference, or you belong to a conference group, follow the group page. Check in on that page all the time. There's going to be stuff going on. Videos, posts, and some people say, well, they keep putting at everybody. Well, there's a reason I do that, is so that people get alerted to the post, especially if it's like the room block is going away, at everyone. And you know who taught me to do that? Because I didn't used to do it. Amanda Dodd. Yeah, I did not know that was a thing. I didn't know if you put at everyone in your comment section, it would alert people to the post.
Yeah, Amanda can at with the best of them.
Yeah. So, and you know what? If I'd have known she was going to expect results, I would have never.
The thing as well is a lot of the groups are searchable. So if there's a topic you're going to ask, it's probably been asked already. And especially if it's one of the silly ones about ticket links and group codes and is everyone meeting up for this? The group's always going to be the best place for those questions, because although for you, it may be like, oh, do you know what? I can just message the organizer. I can just message Dan. It'll only be 3 or 5 minutes. It doesn't take many people to each message you and take up 3 or 5 minutes of your time for that to be a full day spent running around giving out room blocks and, what time breakfast is and everything else like that. So it's, Jim described it. Jim described it as death of 1,000 cuts. And it's absolutely right.
Yes.
It's also classroom management 101. If you have a question, chances are at least half of the class has that question anyway. So ask it in the group. We get better bang for our buck. Everybody, is apprised of the current situation. They know what's going on, and then you can carry on from there. Yeah.
And I remember that, some of the conferences that I would go to and on the group pages, you would see those. Hey, take this flight or use this airline. You'll get this discount or this, and then do that. And there was all this information that was, you don't really see that anymore. And I think I was talking about that with Brian Bay. So the great Brian Bay. People have stopped using the group page. So
I was just saying, you said his name twice in a sentence. If you say it 3 times, he appears in the comment section.
Oh, then I shan't. Moving on.
I will mute you.
Moving on. The thing of this is I put down here pros and cons: discount rates, guaranteed access to the conference hotel, easier logistics, and better customer support. Now supporting the conference. Now, one of the cons in the article that I kind of put down here is public rates are occasionally lower. And I don't know that that's always true, but I will say this: I've been guilty of it. And I know others have been guilty of it because they've done it at my conference. If I'm going somewhere to a conference, I may not always use the group code. So I know sometimes I will use my Expedia so that I keep the level. Like right now, I think I'm at platinum, and I know that sounds silly, but it's like sometimes 20, 30% off stuff. And sometimes I get these really great, but I've got to keep that. And I think one year we went out to Las Vegas and we stayed at the Excalibur. I got those rooms for $48 a night.
Wow.
Just because of that, my platinum on Expedia. And it was a trip element, so I had 3 rooms, so I got 3 trip elements, so it kept me at that level. But at the same time, now I'm Ubering. So, yeah, I saved a lot of money on the hotel, but I spent, probably the same amount on, well, not so much, but I think it came close because I had to Uber a couple times over there, and it wasn't too terrible bad. But I have done it, and I know that there was somebody that contacted me and said, "Hey, listen, I'm coming in, but I'm not going to be using the group code because I've got to keep my Expedia up, or I'm going to use my points." And somebody just did that. They had so much points, and they got a free room, and so I'm not going to begrudge anybody a free hotel room. If they have points or they have reward points that they're going to utilize, that's fine.
Yeah. The only disadvantage of that, and we did have a little bit of an issue, I believe, last year with a couple of people, is that once they saw the room rates versus whatever happened with whatever other system they used, they wanted to switch. Well, we don't have control of what they used,
Oh
so
yeah,
we had to really do some legwork, so to speak, to get that squared away for them. So they got the conference room rates, which were slightly better than what they got as a deal.
yeah,
And that would be the only drawback of not using a conference code, is that
yeah,
now you're on your own and you do have to manage that yourself. So
yeah, and I accept that.
And the thing is as well, I think, like, we don't get a kickback from the hotel for people using the code, but it just enables us to get a better discount or a better rate next year. But here's the thing, priority wise, my priority is I want you at the conference. However you get there and however cheap, if you can get a cheap room somewhere else, then
Yeah,
all power to you. That's amazing. I just want you at the conference. If you want to get it cheaper somewhere else, you get your points cheaper somewhere else, then that's great. We want to do everything we can to make it as easy as you to get the group booking and be at the hotel. But if people have points and they can get elsewhere, then it's more important for me, and I'm sure you're the same, Dan. We want the bodies at the conference. The better we can make a conference, the more discounts we can offer in the future, and the better it can be for everybody.
yeah,
But we try and do everything we can to make it easier. And I know you jump through hoops to make it easier for people, Don.
yeah, absolutely. And I do getting back to that. I accept that. Like if I use my Expedia, I know it's a third party. So I'm not going to I'm not going to call the event coordinator and go, "Hey, can I get a better?" No, I did it. I gotta, I'm doing it. I've done it. I gotta accept what I've got. This year, I'm staying at the Gold Coast Hotel.
Nice.
Yeah, well, driving it. Heather's not going to be with me, and that's why. Um, but we're driving in this year. Something new. Something new.
Nice.
Well, yeah, my cameraman and I are driving in because we're bringing all that great equipment with us, so that we can set up our presentation with Jeff Bennick and just have all that wonderful stuff. So I wanted to be able to do that and not have to fly back early because of Michigan weather.
Yeah.
In January, it gets a little crazy.
yes, it seemed to me that last year there was a lot of crazy weather, right, Grant?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this year it's going to be plain sailing.
Yes, going to be fine. Going to be great. I will say on the deposit, you guys got a good deposit. which was $36, $39. And I contacted the hotel for Michigan. We don't have a deposit. And if you book your room, you just pay for it when you get there. There's no deposit that you have to put down. And I don't know why Penn Play does that, because I talked about that with Carly. And I said, well, maybe because it was that you had to do a one-night deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they first opened our room block. And then I went back and looked, and they said, well, we were doing that, but then they decided they weren't going to do that. So they just took it away. So you can get the room for no deposit. But that worries me as an event coordinator, because how easy is it to get out of a room when you don't have a deposit?
Yeah.
So I think the deposit helps to solidify the body at the conference, per se. Even though Michigan is not historically the biggest conference in the world, but then again, we don't want to be. So
I was just going to say yet.
Shawn, yet being the operative word. I know that we are working on getting bigger, as is PHS, because we're always growing every year and doing things that are cool and exciting. I think the coolest thing this year at PHS is, once again, the fact that I will be going to the M&M store.
Yes.
I think we talked about that last week, didn't we, Grant?
We did. We talk about cool things at conferences.
Yeah.
One of the best life experiences I had was once again at your conference, Dan. One of your volunteers, I can't remember her name, took me to a community theatre that had puppet karaoke.
Yeah.
Which was the most joy I've ever experienced in my life. And so that was fantastic. So I think I may be, I don't know if she's going to be there this year, but I know I will definitely be hunting down the puppet karaoke to go to that again.
So yeah, and it'll be easier to get there because the construction is done. Went down there just recently and did a site visit, talked with Carly Hoffman, and it doesn't even look like the same street. It is really nice. There are some of the restaurants have now built out outside seating and areas like that. Yeah. And just really nice to walk down there and get to where you're going to go, especially when Brian Potts is doing the outing. And I am looking forward to that, but I'm also looking forward to Fremont Street at PHS, because I love to go to Fremont Street. But I wanted to get back to one more thing because we're coming up on our time and it's getting late. I know Grant is getting tired. Let me go back to the article here, and I put the thing up there. Okay, so before you book, I will say this, and I know that you guys have talked about this in the past, or at least in my head you have. So it might just be the voices. I don't know. So before you book, confirming your reservations, compare the rates with the hotel's public rate. Why do I do this? And I say that not to get a better rate, not to use the not so you don't have to use the booking through the hotel and get those discounts. But if you are looking at the hotel, like if you're coming to Michigan, you're going to go to the PHS, you're going to go to Heartland, whatever, you're going to look at go to Expedia and scroll down and check out the incidentals. Because a lot of those things that as an event coordinator, I can't make go away. I can't make the security deposit go away on something. I can't make the tax go away on something. You know what I mean? So, and I know Amanda got hit. I think she went out to Hypnothoughts and had gone to the Sahara, and she had money planned for food, but she didn't know about the security deposit, the incidentals, and I think the resort fees. So it was you get to the hotel, you check in, you think you're paying one price, and then they look at you and go, that'll be X amount of dollars. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought it was this. Well, yeah, you've got to, and you guys did a good job this year. I will say this because there was a breakdown of the rooms on your group page. That's why you use the group page. But make sure that you're checking those, so there's no surprise later when you get there. You're not, Who did that have? Jeff Bennick.
Yes, Jeff Bennick, I was there.
Yeah, he actually went to another hotel. He went. It wasn't, but I can't remember what conference it was. It wasn't PHS. He said he got to the conference, he got to his hotel, then they gave him a different price, and he's like, nope. I think he went and stayed at a Holiday Inn or something like that. But yeah, caught him. But
Yeah, those things can be stressful, especially when you're traveling internationally. So I know Jeff, like myself, you know, we have a prepaid credit card for when you're traveling abroad. And so if you've budgeted, you know, so much for incidentals and food and everything, and then you get there to be told, oh, there's an extra $500 security deposit and extra this and extra the other, it can cause, you know, it can make it more of a challenge.
yeah. So I guess the thing we're going to say now, guys, is book your rooms early. I know in the guide I've said that I will start planning a trip if I'm going somewhere 6 months out, because I'm going to take 3 or 4 trips, and I'm going to plan each one of those so that the travel is smooth. I'm there, everything's done. I've got the hotel room, I got the flight, I got the conference. I'm good. I don't have to stress out at all, and get trapped in Dublin. And so, you know, so hey, that could be a new thing. Locked in Dublin.
Locked in. Well, I don't want to jinx it, Dan. But Shawn was we were going through our schedule yesterday, and it's pretty locked in.
Pretty close to being
locked.
I am never living that down ever.
No.
Well, not as long as I can remember it.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. I hope that you found this informative. I hope if you're coming to the conference that you take this advice. Check it out. Make sure that you're there. You know what? I should have put the link up for the PHS in the comments, but I didn't. And so, because
never mind.
Yeah, I'm a bad host. But we want to thank Shawn and Grant, and I'll be seeing one of these guys soon. Not so much Shawn, but you know, the other one, Grant. You know, I'll be seeing them in Michigan, and there will be no bangers and mash, but there may be pancakes. So,
love it, pancakes. So yeah, I will say this: I'm absolutely really excited for the Michigan conference. Always great to speak and talk there, but it's always great to. It's always good to see how stressed we can actually get done.
There was the one year that I did tear the balloons apart.
Yes. I'll not say which year, but I remember one year that it was day one, you were calm and peaceful. And I'm like, how are you doing? And you went, everything is going perfectly, smoothly. Everything is really good. And then day 2, I remember going over to you and your eye was twitching.
Yeah, and you were not happy about the smooth and calm effects of the first year. You were like, no.
Exactly.
This is not how a conference runs.
Exactly.
Yep. He came around the next day and he's like, that's it. That's the look right there.
That's
I twitch it.
That was a good year, that as well. I actually felt bad because I was somewhat to blame for the eye twitch.
So it happens, man. But all right, guys, we're gonna call it on that.
I think so.
Yes, before Dan's eye starts twitching.